Hello, 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 and this is your boy Carl coming to you from Classic Halo. And today, continuing my series on Broadway shows that go to movies, we're going to talk about The Wiz. Now, this is something very close to my heart, and those of you that know me will know that I am a supreme Diana Ross fan. So I'm not very partial when it comes to this, but I do want to go over some of the actual things that occur just so that we know how things happen from this great best musical Broadway adaptation into this mega movie starring superstars Diana Ross and Michael Jackson, The Wiz. So let's talk about it. Let's have a retrospective on how some people felt like it wasn't as a good movie as it should have been, and it didn't do well at the box office. But because of things that have gone on in recent days, we found out now that a lot of movies did not get the play, black movies specifically, and that was kind of in the 70s, did not get the kind of play that it should have gotten. I mean, it was kind of a lukewarm success critically, but for the box office, it kind of broke even, and that still kind of baffles me to this day as to how that happened. But nevertheless, let's get into talking about it today. So here we have Diana Ross, Motown superstar, supreme movie star, Oscar nominee, considered to be a box office star in 1978 when The Wiz was conceived for a movie. And then we have the original Broadway cast of The Wiz on Broadway. Now, let's just talk about that first. This is a time in Broadway, there were not a lot of all black musicals. So when The Wiz came along in 1976, it was a big deal. It was a big deal. There were black actors, there's the new Stephanie Mills, and it's just like, it was a lot of excitement. But when it first opened, they actually thought that it was not going to make it. When it opened up in Baltimore for the pre-opening on Broadway, they were thinking about actually closing the musical because they didn't think it would do well. But it ended up doing very well and playing for a long time. And a lot of great songs came from that musical. And it turned out to be something pretty spectacular. So let's move on to now. It's 1978. And Motown Universal, they had already sold most of their rights to Universal. He was no longer just a Berry Gordy show. It was now Motown Universal. They're in LA and they're making movies. So here is this movie. They own the rights to The Wiz, Broadway, making that into a movie. They own the rights, but they have not really developed anything as of yet. So it was all kind of thought of that it would be Stephanie Mills would be kind of assumed to play the role, and it wasn't really going to be such a big blockbuster as we got when we did it. And so this is how it all starts. Now, I just recently got some receipts from a follower on one of my social media platforms that gave me the actual receipts, because the rumor is that the part was offered to Stephanie, but she didn't take it. They didn't want her. She would have wanted the part, but that's not true. Stephanie, in her own words, in an interview a few years back, said that she was never even contacted for the role. So it was kind of always that urban myth out there that she was going to get the part. But as far as physically calling her to talk about the role, that never happened. So here comes Diana Ross. Diana wants this role. She has always loved this musical when she was small. Loved the Wizard of Oz, the whole story concept. It was kind of her thing. So she wanted the role. So that happens a lot. We talked about that with Lucy, with Mame. Lucy wanted Mame, and Diana Ross wanted The Wiz. So there you have it. That's how it all kind of came to play. Now, this production ended up being a really great production. So how can you say that it's not any good? You've got the music of Quincy Jones. You've got the great Michael Jackson. You've got the Diana Ross, who is huge at this time. You have got the entire city of New York where you're transforming into this wonderful world of Oz. They literally bought all of this yellow brick linoleum and spread all over the city, and had taken a lot of the city to film this. They had the top models and dancers and everything in this production. It was destined to be a great production. But let's think about this. I thought about, why wasn't the Wiz movie so successful? Now, a lot of people are not really keen on turning certain classics into other things or remakes. You know, there's certain movies that people think you shouldn't remake. Now, here we are getting ready to do West Side Story. We'll see how they receive that. But there are certain things that they don't like that to happen. And I'm thinking that The Wiz is such a well-honored movie that a lot of people didn't really receive it. I, for one, was enamored by all the star power. And let's not forget about Lena Horne. Lena Horne. So this movie should have been bigger, but it wasn't. It's getting more views now than it did when it actually came out. They spent like $24 million to make the movie, and they ended up making just about even, I think about 23 and counting. So they did not make the movie. So when you make a big blockbuster like that with lots of stars, you expect to go ahead. And it got to the point where Michael Jackson even thought he shouldn't have been in it. He was wonderful in the movie. So, and Lena Horne, it revived her career. I mean, that's went to her, the lady, and her music ended up on Broadway. So it did a lot of things. Now, I have nothing against Stephanie Mills. I have nothing against Stephanie Mills. I love her music. Always have loved her music. But they only ended up using from the Broadway show, and this is kind of normal, they only used Ted Ross, the original Lion, and they used Mabel King, the original Eveline. So those were the only two characters they brought from the original Broadway show. And the rest of them was just all star power. So let's just watch a clip right now. I want you to just see some of the magic. This is my favorite part of the show, is when they do the Jubilation Ballet after Eveline is dead, and watching Miss Ross dance and all these dancers. It's just kind of special. It is a great movie, and I know that you've probably seen it before, but if you haven't, take a look at it again and enjoy The Wiz. We'll be right back.
Look around, cause there's a reason to rejoice, you see.
Everybody come out, and let's commence to sing it joyfully. Everybody look up and feel the hope that we've been waiting on. Everybody's glad, cause the silent fear and dread is gone. Freedom, you see, has got a heart singing so joyfully. Just look around, go to yourself and check it out. Can't you feel a brand new day? Can't you feel a brand new day?
That's pretty spectacular, right? Yeah, it was. I know it was. But I wanted to talk about how everyone kind of the biggest controversy, just like it was for Lucy and Mame, was that Miss Ross was too old for the part. They rewrote it, made her a school teacher, trying to find herself and everything, and it worked. I thought it worked, and you know, I think she did a great job in the movie. Michael Jackson's movie career kind of ended after that because he was so hurt by it not being such a blockbuster success that it kind of made him think that he was typecast forever. And but the movie really shouldn't have done that. There are some great movies that have been made out of Broadway shows, and I think The Wiz is one of them. And even though they took it to a whole nother level, you got the fabulous music of um, Quincy Jones. Oh, Richard Pryor. And Richard Pryor's in this movie. So what kind of star power is that? So I know the Broadway people probably think some kind of way, but this has happened year over year again. When it goes to the movies, they want to bring in a different kind of crowd. A lot of the Broadway actors are only known in the New York genre. So in order to pull in the movie, they will often put in a big name star. And I think they did a great job. So that's the controversy. Enjoy the movie. So what I want to leave you with is the versions of the last song in the movie, which is Home. Stephanie Mills originated, and it was a beautiful song. She did a wonderful job. So I want to leave you a little video of her, and then I'm going to leave you a little bit of Miss Ross, and you make the decision. Not like who did it better, but who did it best for when they did it. I think Stephanie was the best Dorothy on Broadway ever, you know, and Miss Ross, of course, is the best Dorothy in the movie and the only one. So hope you're having a wonderful day, and thank you for listening, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I want to chat some more with you about movies. I'm right now in my movie room where I have over 1,600 DVDs that I've collected over the years, and that does not include my digital library. So I enjoy talking about movies. So have a wonderful day, and go and watch The Wiz. Now let's enjoy these clips of Home. Goodbye now.